On the show today, Susan will talk about self-compassion again.
After we missed it last week.
Yeah. Of course, you can prevent her again by calling. It's a filibuster show. Our symbol today is the colour green and the colour pink, so 2 symbols. And our theme is going to be spiritual growth. And as always, we interpret the dreams you sent in during the week. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing, and our phone number is 425-373-5527 if you have a dream-related question, or you want to connect with your guides for advice, or you can call with questions for Susan about healing and changing old life patterns. Once again, the number is 425-373-5527. Thank you to everybody who sent dreams to radioshow@dream-analysis.com. We need more. radioshow@dream-analysis.com. They're the ones that we interpret during the week between calls. So send them in, make them interesting, and you'll get on the show. So Susan, you have a couple of courses coming up.
Yeah, I do. I have a weekend workshop on finding your life purpose, actually coming up May 14th and 15th. And I have a series, a women's group on developing your spiritual gifts, discovering what your spiritual gifts are and learning to use them.
Okay, so we have ad slots on the show. You should create some ads. You have a really good blog actually this week. I just read it last night, so I would encourage people to go to true-radiance.com and read the blog. Very well written. I liked it.
Thank you.
And it says a little bit about what to expect in the course too, I think. Does it? Is that what?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's about how I found my life purpose through dreams. So.
Excellent. All right. So Heidi, you picked the theme, spiritual growth.
Spiritual growth. Well, that's because really that's what our show is about ultimately.
Yeah.
Is how are you going to grow spiritually while on the earth plane? And of course, the dreams are going to tell you how to do that.
Yeah, and it's true. That is the theme of our show. And even when we do health, I've started slanting it. I'm saying the same things, but slanting it, saying, well, your guides want you to be healthy so that you can achieve your life purpose. Because people have no interest in health. It's bizarre.
Until they're sick, of course.
Yes, and then it's too late. It's like, not too late, but I mean, you've already gotten the effects. But anyway, you were going to say something short about
just something short
theme.
That I channeled earlier. This is from one of my guides.
Which one? What's his name?
I had one guide that I would refer to by name, but now I don't.
I was going to do a Life of Brian style.
Yeah, I stopped you.
What were they called? You said you didn't know.
The Life of Brian, Monty Python. Okay, so this is what he said. Growing spiritually is the only thing you can do on earth that you can take with you. In this sense, the physical element in life is just a crutch. Some mistake this for rejecting the flesh. This is not what one should do. Embrace the physical so that you may use this gift, so that you may use your life to benefit your personal growth. That is why you are here, no question about it. This is what it means to live life to the fullest.
Very good. And of course, the comeback people have is say, okay, if that's why we're here, how come we don't know? How come I don't see the spirit world? Or how come I don't fill in the blank? And of course, it's designed that you don't. But it's not hard to see it. I mean, it's designed that you have to work to get to it. But the amount of work you have to do isn't that.
And I think that's why he was referring to it as a crutch. And because we use it, this is how we can kind of force ourselves to work on our spiritual growth, because we have that blank slate when we start out. Most of us.
Yeah.
Probably 99% of the population at this point have that blank slate. And it's important so that you can get the certain issues and then work on them. Because if you have, a multitude of issues that you're aware of and you want to work at them all at the same time, that's when you start to see difficulties in your life. And people do. I mean, even I'm sure everybody's aware of times when they're trying to tackle too many things at once. And that's literally what happens.
Yeah. And like if you had the memory that you were Hitler in your last life, that would kind of probably hold you back.
No, it could definitely. I mean, that's a real fear.
What? Nothing. No.
No, this is that people can be afraid of things, of people that they were in their past lives, that they carry this around with them, and it hinders their spiritual growth because they can't get over the fact that they did horrific things in past lives.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that stops people from even tackling their issues. But you know, when people say they're not aware of it, they are aware of it because things happen in your life that mimic what you are like when you are aware in the spiritual world. And that's what we call your issues.
Yeah, yeah. And then some of the things you have here are to help repay debts. Although debts really turn some people off, that word, but it help you repay people that you've wronged in previous lives. That's part of your life purpose, is to do that so that you can get over it. Even though there's no spiritual law that says you need to repay anybody for anything you've ever done, it's all about forgiveness. If you can rise to the level of, and rise above the way you were, then that's the whole goal.
And forgive yourself. Yeah.
But a lot of people can't. And we see that a lot, you know, people looking for penance, even on the earth plane, for things they've done earlier in their life, you know. Anyway. Yeah, interesting. So, Susan, we were going to have a look at, we mentioned this last week and didn't get to it, but we're going to look at a series of dreams from a client of yours who gave us permission. And that was great. This is something I've wanted to do. So we can see how dreams reflect, hopefully, the work that a person is taking on and doing.
Yeah. So shall I say, I'll say that the first session I had with the client, we worked on cutting the ties with her dad. So I'll just mention that much.
And we call her Kay since we're going to talk about her a lot. It isn't her name.
Yeah, that's not her name.
What is her name? Don't say it. I was just trying to catch you out.
Okay. So shall I read? I'll read one of the dreams.
Sure.
Okay. She said, and this is from 2 nights after our first session together. Sunny Beach, I see one of those speedboats pulling a parasail, and I immediately put myself in the seat, realizing that I'm dreaming. I know I can either stay with it as it gets scary or change the scene to something more comfortable. I stay. It becomes more of a multicolored parachute or hot air balloon without a basket. As it disconnects from the boat and I'm too swiftly for my liking, lifted weightlessly higher and higher, faster than I can react, and my stomach is doing flips and I'm feeling myself getting really nervous. And now I'm so high that I don't think I can go any higher without being in outer space and therefore unable to breathe.
Okay, can I interrupt there?
Yep.
Just to cover a bit. So you did a healing on her before this dream, the day before this dream. So
yeah.
So then she had this. So you did a chakra balancing.
Yes.
And that's what the colourful parachute is about. And rainbows, if you've had chakra work, is going to be about that too. So it's showing that this has really lifted her up. The chakra balancing has really elevated her. And the speedboat is about your healing ability. So we see you in the dream through the speedboat. And this is where it's important to know what has the... what we try to look for symbols to see what the dreamer has. But we will also see what they're getting done on them. So a speedboat, because it's a powerful boat, any symbol of power or energy is going to be about spiritual healing. So this represents the work you did, and you're dragging her along, essentially, and lifting her up with the work. So really, really good. And she, nearly going to outer space, she says, is about it really helping her get in touch with her spiritual side. And that's what she wants. So that's good for her too. But we'll come back to it because she also shows that again in a symbol that's more common in the rest of the dream.
Yep. I remind myself that all I need to do is think of myself elsewhere, back on the ground preferably, and I'll be there. I fall straight down, as swiftly as I was taken up, into the ocean where it was deep enough that I went quite far down upon impact. I didn't reach the sand, but I could see it. And it wasn't dark, so it felt like I was safe.
Okay, so that's also going into the water then, is about going into her spiritual side. And when I talked to her, she said that after the healing, she had the best week ever in true comic book man style. That's a Homer Simpson reference. And she said she felt that she had a part in the process. So that's really good. And that's what she gets herself into the seat in this, for the parasail. Mm-hmm. And she said it isn't anything she would ever do in reality. So it can show, our dreams show us, that when we get healing, when we're getting work done on ourselves, when we're doing any type of therapy, they show what's changing about us. So this is really good. Anyway, it continues on.
Almost immediately, I'm back on shore at a beach house. I found myself trying to wash off the salt water with a wet washcloth, only to notice a shower behind me when I was nearly done. Then I was talking on the phone with my dear friend when I see a girl I once knew, about 12 years old, wearing a life jacket. She falls off a rowboat into the canal by the house. She was very upset and embarrassed, which made me feel terrible. I shouldn't have laughed, nor should I have shared her embarrassing episode.
Okay, so dreams that have bathrooms, showers, and so on are here washing off the sea salt. It's all about cleansing something that holds her back. And it actually works in the dream. It does cleanse her because it puts beside her the issue that is her big issue. And it started for her at age 12. We see a girl in the dream and she says she's 12 years old wearing a life jacket. So she started protecting herself from life at age 12. And of course, following on from what Heidi said at the start, life is not about protecting yourself. Life is about living it to the fullest and having the experience, the most variety of experiences that you can have, but not holding back. The girl falls into a canal by the house, and even the canal tells us that her upbringing or life itself has controlled or limited the flow of her spirituality. And spirituality is about what's at your core, what's at your soul. What is it about you that when you're expressing it makes you feel most alive? And it's unique to you. And so very personal. So that's been limited in her because of what happened at age 12. And when I asked her about it, she said that her parents separated when she was 12 and her mom left her with her grandparents and her mom went to Europe for a while and then things got worse. And that's what the highs and lows are about. The highs and lows are about what's going on with her now. Maybe we'll get to that in a bit. But but this is what she has to work on. So now she has to work on issues with her mom, or at some point will have to work on issues with her mom. She cut the ties with her dad, I think, before this session as well.
Right, just before this.
So it's interesting anyway. It shows the dream is hitting the right points and telling her what she needs to work on. But so things that make her feel embarrassed, make her hide herself, make her not show people who she is, they're her issues. And what you're trying to get to is getting to a point with her where she's comfortable in her own skin.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
Okay. I like the dream. I like the speedboat with the parasail.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at the time and...
I know. Well, what have you got?
Okay. So this is the same night. I had a dream I was being encouraged to get on a brand new light rail or rapid transit of sort of train. It was blue and white and shaped like the body of an airplane, but without the wings and wheels. And it was on what appeared to be a roller coaster track. It moved incredibly fast. It looked really scary, and it was going to take some convincing to get me on it, though everyone around me was really excited about it and not at all afraid. It went up high, then came practically straight down, so we see that again, all the way down through some underground tunnel and even an underwater tunnel. I just watched it.
Okay, so that's great. Now, it's a pity she didn't get on this train because anytime you see the word light or you see something that's bright, then it's a positive thing because it's from the light. And so getting on this light rail is about fast-tracking her life direction, and because she says it's a rapid transit. And so it's okay that she didn't in this dream. It just shows what the work you're doing with her is setting up for her. So we expect in one of her future dreams she's going to do that. And even if we don't see it in a dream, it is going to happen as long as she persists. But what's nice about this dream, the blue and white, of course, is about improving her philosophy of life. So not being negative. It's asking her to lighten up there. But the underground tunnel and the underwater tunnel is like a new birth. So it's saying she's going through a process that is going to result in like her having a new birth, a spiritual birth, because it's an underground water tunnel. And so that's good. Yeah. So we're going to speed through some more of her dreams. And we have some callers we're going to take after the break. So if you're listening online, please stay on the line. Okay. What have you got next?
So this one was right after our second session together. She said, let's see, I was standing over the hood of a beige station wagon driven by a male friend, not anyone I know in waking life. We were assessing the damage from 20 or so bullet holes. I remember arguing that they were from an automatic rifle, not a shotgun, as someone else suggested. My friend and I drove up into a neighborhood on a hill. It was nighttime, and lights all over the city below were visible through the trees, where we knew the gunshots had come from. In fact, we knew the gang that had targeted our car, and we went to confront them, totally casually, not afraid, not planning any sort of retaliation. We deduced either from their locale or from talking with them that they actually had terrible aim and weren't even trying to shoot at us. The whole thing was no big deal to us, though we were amused at their lack of proficiency with firearms.
Yeah, a very good dream. And this is very typical for somebody who's cutting the ties. So she's cutting the ties with her dad, and we have her confronting a gang of males in the dream. And we typically see that. We quite often see bandages and blood in dreams like this. And it's not usually you're the one with the bandages. You see the men are bandaged and bloody because of their fighting and the conflict and so on. So this dream is about that, showing that the cutting the ties is actually working really well. And it's the same outcome always when you see these type of dreams. You face somebody that you think is going to cause you serious harm. And in the end, they don't. It's like, oh, there's really nothing here. So typically you would find yourself, even if, like, she voluntarily does it, which is really good in this dream. But quite often in dreams we don't, and we're trying to avoid somebody. And then we realize, oh, they're coming my way and I'm in trouble here. And then you realize, oh, it's a school childhood friend or somebody like that is the leader of the gang. And they're like, oh, it's you, Michael. Oh, there's no problem there. And it's all diffused. So, and just like in this dream, it all gets diffused. And that's what the whole purpose of the process is about, is to diffuse all these things. And then the bullet holes. So we have to cover that. What are the bullet holes about? And I kept saying to her, where's the anger in your past? There's somebody who's male who's angry in your past. And she couldn't get it. And then after a while, she said, oh, yeah, my dad, he wasn't normally angry, but he got very angry at one point and decided that myself and my sister weren't accepting him as he was. And he now doesn't talk to us anymore. But the anger is about that. And I forgot to ask her, like she said, 20 or so bullet holes. When did that happen? How long ago? What age were you when that happened? Because the 20 can say this happened in your 20s. Doesn't have to be about that. But so that's what it is. But even if you don't know what it is, it still shows the process is working. So quite a good one. And we do have more. And I know you're very conscious of the callers.
I am. Should we?
What have we got?
Let's go to this one. April 19th. It's on the next page. Yep.
Okay.
I was with a man, someone I've known only briefly in waking life, at an event. It was kind of like a scavenger hunt, but we were just going to different locations all over the island doing different activities. Okay,
so this guy is somebody she had just met. She didn't really know him, but was interested in getting to know him. So that's good. So this would show her getting in touch with her male side, but a positive male side. I'm going to find out nice things here. Or it's just going to be fun is the way to look at it. It's going to be fun to get to know my male side. Whereas the other males are not the fun kind.
Fun, right.
Put down the rifle.
I was driving a really nice new SUV that was sparkly gold on the outside and cream leather on the inside.
And she's had cream come up in other dreams, which is to do with acceptance. And we're going to cover that in a couple of her dreams. The sparkly gold, again, is you. It's the healing that's helping her achieve acceptance of herself. And the new SUV is also, it shows invigoration for her body. So rejuvenation, because she does drive an SUV, but she said it's 20 years old. So it's a good thing then to see in a dream you're driving a new car, because then it's like everything's been healed and fixed and what have you.
Yeah. And this was after we were working on forgiveness and self-forgiveness and dealing with fear and anxiety. So I was pleased to see the cream come up in this room.
Yeah.
I turned to look in the back seat at one point, and our dog that died last April was in the back seat.
Okay, so I asked her, do you have any, what are your instincts like? Do you know what to do in a situation? And she said, not at all. I don't have any at all. So the dog coming back is typical in a dream to signify that this is coming back to you. We all have natural instincts. We don't always realize that, that like all other animals on the earth plane, we do have an instinctual behavior that we can rely on that tells us what to do in given situations. But some people can become so rational that they override that with their thoughts. And she's one of these people. So seeing the dog there is really good. And she said she had a very special connection with this dog. So very, very positive to see that connection with her body coming back.
I was now driving a green shopping cart, somehow with my passenger next to me, but the dog was gone. Driving my cart, I pushed a lineup of carts that were stacked together, like they are at the grocery store, easily out of the way, and stopped to move a stack of boxes of chocolates. I could have easily busted through those as well, but I carefully moved each one and stacked them onto a counter next to the path I was making. My passenger picked out a box of chocolates from the pile and wanted to bring it with us, but they weren't ours, so I discouraged him. And besides, I already had a tiny one with 2 chocolates behind us in the cart.
So I promised her I wouldn't say what this part was fully about, so she knows.
Yeah.
But the grocery cart is about digestive system problems, and the dream here, where she could easily have pushed through the stack of grocery carts, is saying that the issue that she's got there is something that she can easily deal with it, but she hasn't yet decided to do it, because even though she could do that, she decides to move things, and she just moves one stack to another stack, and she puts it on the counter. The counter tells us that this is something that she has to deal with. So she's responsible for this, or accountable for this. It's a pun. Good dreams, and we'll come back to more of hers. If we don't do them today, we will do them next week. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will come back to the callers. Thanks for holding on. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan, and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening, and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
This station is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing. With me in studio is Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our phone number is 425-373-5527. And we've got Dave on the line. Hi, Dave. Thanks for holding on there.
Oh, my pleasure. I have a dream that also involves a light rail rapid transit trip.
Okay.
And it culminates with a grapefruit.
Okay.
So I arrive in a foreign country. I'm traveling. I do not speak the language, and I'm planning on, I guess, meeting up with some friends later on. But I decide on my own to get on a light rail train just to sort of take a look around. I get on the train, and pretty quickly, like after the first stop or two, the train stops at the airport, and I realize that this is not a local train, and I have no idea where it's going and how far it's going to go. So I start thinking, well, what do I do next? I can't communicate with anyone around me. So I'm thinking, do I get off the train and try to catch the same train going back, or do I stay on the train and ride it to the end to take it back? within a couple stops, more stops, I'm at a sort of another small town center. The door's open. There's a security guard there, and I'm trying to ask him, what do I do? Should I get off the train or not? He informs me that there are militia around that I would need to be careful about. I would need to have papers with me, and it may not be safe for me to get off the train. And then he turns, and there's a vendor sort of right up against the train that has a cart full of grapefruit. And the security guy grabs a grapefruit and hands it to me. And I take it from him. I look at it. It's a beautiful grapefruit. It's bright, orange, reddish orange, sparkly. And I admire it. I say, this is a beautiful grapefruit, but I don't really need a grapefruit. Thank you very much. And I hand it back, put it back on the pile. And sort of that image of the grapefruit was so profound that I woke up.
Okay, all right. So there's me thinking grapefruit were yellow.
It was a yellowish, reddish, pinkish color.
We'll go with orange. You said orange.
Yeah.
So we look at the very obvious. I mean, it's the dream has you in another country, so there's travel involved. Then you're getting on a train journey that you've never done because it's something you've never done. And the fact that it's light rail is good. And then you get to an airport, which is also about taking a journey. So is there a new departure in your life, or is there something you're thinking about taking on? And just, it could be something like, say, having a child, for instance. So it could be something significantly different than anything you've done before.
Yes, I'm actually thinking about leaving my present job and career and traveling.
Oh, okay.
and traveling to India from the States, where I've never been before.
Okay. And the orange then is a color for a career, so that kind of fits in there. Let's see, I'm trying to rewind your dream in my head. So foreign country. So you're going to go to a foreign country. So a lot of this we can disregard because it matches what you're thinking of doing. Of course, the language in India is going to be English, so I mean everybody speaks it, even though they have local dialects. So,
right.
Is that a concern of yours when you're going over there? Because if it's not, then that's something we do look at.
I'm aware that a lot of people were planning on traveling to, if everything goes right, sort of away from the cities where Hindi will probably be predominant, and there may not be much English. So that is kind of obvious. The grapefruit really threw me.
Okay, Heidi, jump in here.
So does grapefruit mean anything to you?
Not really.
Doesn't remind you of your grandparent or anything like that?
We drank grapefruit juice as a kid. We drank more like frozen grapefruit juice than we did orange juice, for instance. But
it doesn't bring back any like childhood memories or anything though for you.
Not really.
Okay, well then I just wanted to cover that. So the grapefruit, that what they're saying about that, Michael, is it's bigger than an orange, and that's to note.
But it's a color of career, so
yeah. But what would an orange itself represent in a dream?
It's ambition, drive and ambition. It's a good thing. It's also healing for your digestive system. So, and the train could be about your digestive system too. So,
okay.
And the light rail in that context would be all about healing for you. So, do you have any digestive system trouble?
Not that I'm aware of.
When you come back from India, you...
yeah, that's right. That may be a concern that I should be concerned about.
I know lots of people. I worked for a company that they sent us to India frequently, and every time people came back, they went in tranches. Over half of them got sick every single time because they drank the water. So it is definitely something you watch when you're in India.
Right.
But if you're saying... I would say, from your dream, I would say your digestive system you do need to watch it. It's not, even if you're not aware of something physically, it's something you do need to watch. But the fact that you say it's light rail, because that isn't what you would think of in India.
And this is above ground too.
Yeah.
As opposed to the letter that you read earlier.
It's still good. Well, it's on the ground. It's on surface level on the ground, is it, or is it up higher?
Surface level and it seems like it was raised up too.
Yeah, so I would take this to say that the experience is going to be a good experience. So it's encouraging you, yes, travel, get out,
leave your job,
change. The guides are saying leave the job. Yeah,
and I think that's what the grapefruit represents, because it's that's what they were saying, is it's bigger than an orange. So this is bigger than what you think it's going to be. It's going to expand.
Yeah,
and help you on your spiritual
and
growth.
I would say that you're going to get a bigger job at the end of it. So if your concern is how do I get a job, and you're handed that by a guide in the dream, because a vendor is a guide, so you should, next dream you have, keep the grapefruit. Don't ever give back what a guide gives you.
I will peel it and take a big bite.
So I think it's saying that your career goals will change, because it's circular shaped, it's spherical. So it's saying your career goals are going to change as a result of this journey. And that's a good thing for you to do. And of course, the security guard is not good in the dream, even though he's a guide. So he's saying like you're questioning your security and wondering if you're mad and things like that, probably. Mm-hmm. So the fact that after you ask that and you get handed something that represents career is saying, look, don't worry about security. Everything's going to be fine. I know he says, yeah, there's some militia, so stay on the train and things like that. But these are just the fears. So he's symbolizing the fears that you have. But he's saying stick with the journey.
Okay.
So
don't get off the train.
That sounds like it's spot on, and that's very helpful.
All right. Well, thanks for holding on the line, and thanks for the dream. And I do hope it's a great journey for you.
Very good. Thank you.
Take care. And we have Elise on the line now, and Elise has a dream. Hi, Elise.
Hi.
Thanks for waiting. Sorry for the long delay.
Thank you so much. It's very interesting. The fellow had an Indian dream. Well, so did I.
Okay.
And it's bothered me for 3 days. I'm on the outside looking in. 3 Indian women dressed in beautiful baby blue clothing, nice and silky, satiny. They're ignoring me. And I'm in pain because they're ignoring me. I don't know what it means. And I'm really upset about it.
And is that the whole dream?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got to remember.
Okay. So have you ever done any work on your inner child, your childhood?
A little, yes.
Do you have older siblings?
I do.
And have they been able to tell you what went on when you were a baby?
Yes.
Because this dream is bringing you back to that. And it's asking you to look at either 3 months old or 3 years old. And it's saying you didn't get the attention from your mom that you needed at that age.
Oh, my God.
And the dream is saying that's part of your life path. It was part of your purpose. That's what the Indian women in your dream mean. It was a karmic thing. So it has made you look at life from the outside from then on in. So you tend to have a look at things and see the distinctiveness in people. Would that be true?
Yes.
But it would make that life start is a sacrifice you make because it gives you certain things. It would make you a good counselor. And you know, people, I'm sure I've said this on the show before, but if I haven't, counselors are born and trained from childhood rather than trained in a university. And it's because of the distinctiveness and the unique way that you're able to see the world, see how people who are very different can get on together and things like that that people don't normally see. You can see all that. So, but you at the same time have this poor bond with the earth plane, feeling like you don't fit in, and it's just showing that this was planned, part of your plan. Even though you'd look at it now probably and say, why on earth would I do that? But if we go back to what Heidi was saying at the start, it's part of your spiritual purpose. If you were to deal with the issues with your mom, say cut the ties with your mom from age, Heidi, what age did
3
you say?
months.
3 months. So go back to then, cut the ties with your mom. That poor bond with the earth plane would be healed. You would still retain your amazing vision for seeing what's going on around you.
You're amazing. Let me tell you, I just had lunch with my husband, and I told him, my mom's been dead now for 3 years, but I said, I never felt her like I have this past week. I don't know what it is she's trying to tell me. I also was going to be a counselor. I'm a medical massage therapist, and it's just been amazing helping others emotionally while doing the physical work.
Well, that's great. And you already are a counselor, so you don't need training in counseling because you've got it. Now, qualification-wise, in some states, in some places, you need to have the qualification, or you can call it coaching and meet it that way. So I'm not saying you need to go train to be a counselor. You've already been trained. and you picked your training from before you were born by choosing this difficult start to life. Huge sacrifice to make, but the benefits other people get because of the skills you get from it are really good. Now, it's great that you feel your mom around, so that means your mom is saying she wants you to heal this now. So this is a good time with her support to work on the issue. And always when people pass, well, a while after they pass, so 3 years is good, after they pass, they want you to deal with the issues because even when it's planned, they still feel a sense of they have caused you pain that they no longer want to see. So she's helping you from the spiritual side, a spirit side, saying, please do this. So that's really, really good. And you're in the right field then. So you're already doing the right things, but at least understanding that your life makes sense because of that poor bond. You don't always necessarily feel that, but you will feel it when you're helping other people because that's when it clicks, if you know what I mean. So you should already be able to relate to that. How long are you doing the work?
11 years.
Oh, great. And you're still enthusiastic about it today?
Oh, it's my favorite thing besides my husband and grandchildren.
All right. Well, we haven't told you anything you didn't know, except it's a good time to cut the ties with your mom. And we did a show about that. That is in the archive. So rather than go over it again. So cutting the ties that bind, there's different ways you can do it. Susan does it actually using energy healing. And you're probably familiar with all the ways. And then there's another way with Phyllis Crystal. But you can do it on your own, of course. And given the work that you do, I'm sure you're familiar with it. But sometimes even when you are quite familiar with it and you help people yourself, it's good sometimes to have a person who supports you while you're doing it because that just boosts you.
I agree. Yeah. I help others. It's just I don't get the right information. And I was almost there, but I wasn't. I still was thinking it was my patients, and there's something about my Indian clientele, but it's not, and I'm just thrilled about that.
Yeah, and so
thank you so much.
Yeah,
yes?
I like the colourful clothing that they're wearing that you said, so that's really good. So that's all about bringing back love and colour to your childhood that was missing. So the dream tries to give what you didn't get. But anyway, it's a good dream to see that it achieved the outcome. The start of your life being difficult achieved the outcome it was intended to achieve, which is your counselling skill. So,
thank you so much.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So we're going to take another break and we'll be back with you in a moment.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
Don't be fooled by cheap imitations. There's only one Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing, and our phone number is 425-373-5527. Once again, 425-373-5527. And we have some questions from people that they've sent in during the week. One question: to escape from a house, what is the meaning? Okay, well, the dreamer doesn't give us any background, but leaving a house in a dream is quite often about birth. To escape from a house is birth, and getting into the body is going into a building, and then leaving the body is leaving the womb and coming into the physical world. So that's typically what it's going to be about, but it's going to have other things in there about what your life purpose is about and so on, and they're always good to see. So here's another one. You mentioned that dreams of actors mean we have a channeling ability. I had a dream that I was in a house where a movie star has died. Her husband was on the bottom floor and her little child, about age 2, was on the middle floor. I also had a dream about a man in a wheelchair with a, how do you spell that? Tracheotomy? Pronounce it, I mean. So would this mean that my channeling ability has actually died or simply being censored, which I've recently experienced due to the disagreement with my beliefs? Okay, so Heidi, you can answer this one, but no, you don't lose your abilities. But yes, we definitely can censor them based on our beliefs. So you do have a channeling ability, you still have it, but you're not doing anything to bring it to life. So what would you say on that?
You're not using your voice. You're using tools that you don't need to use. And I think that's what because when you have a tracheotomy, you usually have that machine, which I can't remember the name of, to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that's what I'm hearing is you can't lose the channeling ability. It will never go away, regardless of what you do. But you can, like you were saying, desensitize yourself and stifle it. But even the dream is showing you, even if you do try and do that, you will still channel. You will just, it'll be from a lower vibration.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's times, she's still dreaming of actors. So the dream is still pushing her channeling ability. If something's gone, you're not going to dream about it. So the dream is saying, look, you need to breathe life back into this and you need to express. So all the things that are the opposite in the dream is what you need to do. So it's not that it's gone. If it was gone, you wouldn't be dreaming about it. Here's another one. Is it normal to switch roles within the same dream? I wake up, begin interpreting the dream and stop myself because it no longer makes sense, because 1 minute I was one person and the next minute I'm someone else. The funny thing is, even in the dream, I remember thinking, wait a second, I was just that guy and now I'm her. And the answer is yes, for some people it's normal. If you're a woman and you have a very male approach to life due to issues at the start of your life that caused you to be very male, very intellectual, rational and so on, then yes, you can have dreams where you're a man, and then those dreams will encourage you to get into your femininity, and this is what the switching roles is about. And Susan, did you want to add something to that? Did you want to name somebody? Not your client.
No.
A friend of ours.
No, actually, no.
Well, yeah, we do have a friend, and she has lots of dreams like this, and she'd be the first to admit. And it's funny, when you're doing a dream for her, you can see the cogs turning in her brain, very male and looking at the whole thing, and yet she has all the other skills. She has the ability to channel and ability to go intuitively with dreams and so on. But it just becomes more comfortable because of her upbringing to rely on her sharp intellect, and so that's what it's going to be in your dream. But it wants you to push to become your truer self, deal with the issues, balance the male side, and so on. What else have we got? Last question. I had a long dream that boils down to me driving a vehicle full of random objects, one of which was an onion. And in the middle of cutting the ties, and I felt like I already brought up most of the issues, but I think the dream lets me know there's plenty more baggage to address at this point. At least I'm driving the car, though I haven't driven a car since junior high in my dreams, and that it was always crashing or driving on that ridiculous thin freeway that you fall off of. I don't know that freeway. Anyway, what I want to get to is the last part of this. It's a long way around to get to this. Anyways, one thing that stuck in my mind was this large onion with a green stalk. It was one like the one we found sprouting and abandoned in our cupboard and recently planted to make a garden out of it. It is actually doing well, along with some garlic in the same situation. Thank you for the show. Okay, so the onion and the green stalk are about, yes, absolutely. When you cut the ties, sometimes you need to cut the ties to work on physical issues. Sometimes it's to work on emotional issues. And then you get to a point where you can cut the ties again, but now you're going to improve the flow of female energy within you, or you're going to improve particular abilities that work through female energy, or if it's cutting the ties with dad, it's issues that work, or things that work with male energy, like healing and so on. So every time you do it, it is like peeling a layer of an onion. However, sometimes we can peel a lot of that onion and we can get a lot of things done in one quick go. And that all depends on whether you've done work on yourself before, but maybe haven't quite claimed the reward. In that case, cutting the ties seems like it just flies along and it really catapults you into the next level. And it does, because you've done a lot of work already and you're really claiming that. Now, you can do that again in a session of cutting the ties this time, as long as you really push yourself and encourage yourself along in the process. So the green stalk here is going to be about growth through dealing with the issues, peeling back the layers, because of the fact that you did, in reality, the onion represents something that you made a garden from. So growth from something that was left in the closet, because you say it was in the cupboard. So bringing it into the light, healed things, and then allowed growth. So bringing into the light all the issues that you need to look at and working on those. But absolutely, but it doesn't mean that you're falling backwards in any way. It just means that there's more to do, and there's always more to do. So
there's always more to do. It's true.
And in fact, you can have to cut the ties sometimes up to 7 times, but there can be long gaps between them. But it's never as difficult as the first time. Have you ever seen that, Susan, that somebody has a worse second session of cutting the ties?
No, never.
Okay, so the first time round, all the really hard work gets done. And the second time round, it's nearly always just you're claiming something very positive, something very, very good. So what else have we got? What do we want to look at? Do you want to mention your course again, just for anybody who's joined in late?
Sure. I've got 2 courses coming up. One of them is Finding Your Life Purpose, and it's called Living Your Life Purpose, and it's on May 14th and 15th on the weekend. And then I've also got a women's group, which is for identifying and practicing your spiritual gifts. So we're going to be working with intuition and things like that. Those are both on my website, true-radiance.com.
Great. And then we're going to have a look at a couple of quick dreams. This dream started out, and we always leave out the bits. I'm having so much fun listening to your radio show. Thank you. Great. We get lots of compliments through the email, and we really do appreciate them. And we do read them. More than everything else. I'm joking. The dream started out with me climbing a path up a steep mountain. I had hiking boots on. Now, that's good. When you're going up a mountain in a dream and you have hiking boots on, it means that you're equipped for dealing with what you need to deal with. So that's really good to see. It was nighttime and I was easily making the climb. So nighttime says you're not quite sure where you're going, but easily making the climb is good. Halfway up or so, I see an older man sitting on a chair next to a large plate glass window on the right side of the trail. Now, he's your guide. He's one of your guides. And then you say the man was Native American. So yes, definitely he's one of your guides. And the large plate glass window says that you are a psychic. You have a strong intuitive ability. This is a strong connection with your higher self. Psychic is one of the most misused words. So just to define it properly, a psychic is somebody who has a strong connection with their soul. That's what the word means, soul. And through that connection, you can get any information you can channel. You can get the same information Heidi gets through her guides, talking to hers. So it's a really good connection, works through female energy, but it can't be tampered with. Because it's a connection with you, nobody can get in between the connection with you except yourself. So anyway, very good. Let's see. The man was a Native American. He looked directly at me and I stopped. He never said a word, so typical guides. But I knew he was there for me. Behind the plate glass window was a 6-foot-tall bald eagle. I knew somehow that they were connected to each other and were meant for me. So yes, they are indeed. And that's really, really good. So I'm looking at the comments. So the guide is halfway there. So the guide meets you halfway. That's really nice to see. Not talking, typical of a guide. Your guides communicate with you through feeling. So realize that that's really important. The eagle is another guide introduced to you by a guide that you already trust. And that's excellent in dreams. So they want you to go with what the eagle symbolizes. Now, I normally say in dreams that eagles represent prophecy, not in your dream. You have a different connection with eagles because you're a photographer and you photograph eagles. But here, the eagle means achieving a crowning achievement, getting to a crowning achievement. So overcoming a struggle, not really a struggle, but making the climb, getting to the point that you need to get to, and making that connection with your guides, even though for you it's a connection through feeling and a connection with your higher self. So quite a nice dream. Did I leave out any bits of that dream? Anybody? No? I have a note here. It says, Heidi's dream about Bernie Sanders.
Oh, now I have to remember this now. So I was in class in Ireland, which of course I grew up there, so maybe not relevant, but in my school, my secondary school.
But I thought you were studying...
Yeah, human sexuality.
Okay.
But no, this is in the dream. This
Okay.
is where I am in the dream. And in the class, there's Bernie Sanders is the lecturer of the class. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is so cool. You know, Bernie Sanders and my good friend from school is there. I told her about this dream, so she's listening, she'll know. And we're sitting beside each other. And then suddenly Bernie Sanders goes to the right side of the room and was just writing on the whiteboard. And I'm like, why, I'm trying to turn to the right and be like, look at what he's writing. And be like, why isn't anybody else impressed? Everybody decided that they were going to listen to this. It was a female lesbian who was talking about her struggle with being lesbian.
All lesbians are female.
Well, okay. Duh. So then she was talking about her experiences growing up and how difficult it was for her and all. And I was like, why are we all listening to this woman? Bernie Sanders is in the room, like writing like profound stuff on the whiteboard. And I couldn't understand why people wouldn't listen to Bernie Sanders rather than this woman who was, nobody knew personally.
Okay. All right. So it has an overtone of what you're working on or what you're studying in school. And because everybody is distracted and missing the person who's changing America now, even if he doesn't become president, he's got people invigorated and they've had to take on a lot of the policies he's talking about and so on and so on. So he symbolizes working with people and helping them change their minds. And that's much more important for you than what you're currently doing in school. So this is kind of a funny one. This dream is saying, ignore what you're learning right now in college.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be of no benefit to you.
And it's a sexuality class that I'm learning. And some of the stuff, I find the class bizarre because it's all on the note of, you have to break down the walls of society and culture and religion, what that defines sexuality as. And then the book tries to define sexuality for you. I'm like, okay, so don't listen to them, but listen to the book. It was just,
but it's interesting
very
because
conflicting information.
Bernie Sanders is a socialist, and social studies are usually very educational and very positive because they show you how movements in the past and how people in the past changed philosophies and paradigm shifts and all that happened through people who, like social studies is really, really important. And yet it's not done. A lot of us don't do it. But so it's saying that's your field, helping people work with people. But this really is not important. So I know there was something else that I liked about Bernie Sanders in that dream, and I can't remember what it is. So I should have written down.
Was it the side of the room he was on?
No, just that he was sidelined. That's why
yeah.
he's on the side.
Yeah.
So it's about you telling you don't lose your focus on what it is you're meant to do. And we can do that. Some people, college can educate away your entrepreneurship because you're told this is how things are, this is how things must be, and so on and so on. So this dream is really telling you don't lose yourself in your education. But anyway, I just thought it was kind of poignant. But I had something much better in there that I've forgotten now. And we have 2 minutes to go. So do we have anything else? You had a dream where you were in Nutgrove and studied for your master's degree while on cashier duty at a €2 store.
Yes, €2 store is the Irish equivalent of the dollar store.
Yeah. So of course, it doesn't say €2,
yeah.
It's a euro store.
Yeah.
So €2 is about you channeling, and a cashier duty is saying that you're it's something you're meant to do. You make money from doing it and so on. But it tells you other things. But it's both. Nutgrove is about the Dharmic path. So you've had a lot of dreams about getting on the Dharmic path. And I'm going to skip the rest of that. Do we have time to squeeze one in? We have a lady called Nadia who she uses up more bandwidth than Netflix in the amount of dreams that she sends us. She's not the only one. And I can make that joke because she's a friend.
Or she was.
We'll see.
But Nadia's been sending us lots and lots and lots of dreams with symbols of the reproductive system in it. And Heidi's going to tell you why.
Okay, Nadia. So this is something that I can relate to 100%. It is that getting pregnant is going to propel you spiritually in your connection, your channeling, and your connection with your higher self.
And
And so I don't know if you've had a desire, though I feel like you've had a desire to procreate, but getting pregnant is a huge step for you, and it's something necessary for you in your development.
Okay, so there you go. All your male friends will be calling over tonight. Okay, so that's our show for this week. Thanks to everybody for listening. Remember, send your dreams to radioshow@dream-analysis.com. And we're thanks to Eric Ryder, our producer and engineer. Thanks to Heidi for all her input and Susan for hers. And we're going to leave you with this quote. Just because you're offended, it does not mean you're right. And that's from Ricky Gervais.